If you are over 60 and you have been drinking beet juice every morning hoping it will fix your blood pressure, your circulation, or your energy levels, I need you to hear something that might change how you prepare that glass starting tomorrow. Beet juice works. That is not the issue. The issue is that after 60, your body starts handling beet juice differently than it did at 40 or even 50. Three specific age-related shifts in your digestive chemistry, your vascular lining, and your blood composition quietly reduce the benefit you actually absorb from a plain glass of beet juice by nearly half. And the frustrating part is that almost no one is being told about this. Fingers tingling when you wake up, ankles swelling by dinner, a tiredness in your legs that has nothing to do with how much you slept. If that sounds familiar, that is not just getting older. That is a measurable nutrient and enzyme gap that research says you can close. Today I am walking you through the 6 most powerful ingredients seniors over 60 are now mixing into their beet juice and the science behind why each one matters. These are not random superfoods. Each one targets a different biological bottleneck that plain beet juice cannot reach on its own. Some double the circulatory response. One combination nearly triples it. And the ingredient at number 1 is something you have almost certainly been throwing in the garbage without a second thought. Before we start the countdown, I want to hear from you. Drop your age in the comments right now and tell me, have you been drinking beet juice? Plain, or are you already mixing something in? I read every single comment, and your answers shape what I research and bring you next. Let us begin. Number 6, fresh lemon juice. This sounds too simple to matter, but the biochemistry behind it will change how you think about every glass of beet juice you have ever had. Here is what happens inside your body when you drink beet juice. The nitrates in the juice go through a 2-step conversion. First, bacteria living on the surface of your tongue convert those nitrates into nitrites. Second, your stomach acid converts those nitrites into nitric oxide, the molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax, open wider, and let blood flow more freely. Here is the problem that almost nobody talks about. After 60, and especially after 65, your stomach acid production drops by 30 to 40%. That second conversion step, the one that actually creates nitric oxide, starts running on empty. A large portion of those nitrites your tongue bacteria worked to produce never get converted. They pass through your system without doing anything. You are drinking the right thing, and your body is wasting a significant portion of it because the chemical environment is no longer acidic enough to complete the process. Fresh lemon juice contains citric acid and vitamin C. Both directly restore the acidic environment that conversion depends on. Researchers at the University of Southampton measured nitric oxide byproducts in the blood of older adults and found that adding vitamin C to dietary nitrate intake increased measurable nitric oxide levels by 33% compared to the same nitrate dose without it. 33% more output from the same glass of juice. Just by adding a lemon. Squeeze 1 full lemon into your beet juice immediately before drinking. Let the mixture sit for 60 seconds. That brief contact time allows the citric acid to prime the conversion environment before the liquid even reaches your stomach. Number 5. Raw garlic. 1 to 2 cloves, crushed and blended directly into the juice. What garlic does alongside beet juice involves a mechanism that most physicians are not even thinking about during your appointment. Margaret, 69 years old, retired school administrator. 3 years of worsening circulation in her lower legs. By evening, her feet were ice cold, regardless of room temperature. She had been drinking beet juice faithfully for over a year. Some improvement, but the cold feet persisted. She added 2 crushed raw garlic cloves to her morning blend. Within 6 weeks, the nightly cold episodes reduced by more than half. At her next vascular checkup, her doctor noted measurable improvement in peripheral blood flow and asked her what she had changed. Here is why. Raw garlic produces a compound called allicin the instant it is crushed. Allicin directly inhibits an enzyme called ADMA, asymmetric dimethylarginine. A DMA functions as a biological brake on nitric oxide production. After 70, ADMA levels climb by an estimated 25% above normal adult levels. That is one of the primary biochemical reasons your nitric oxide declines so dramatically with age, completely independent of diet, exercise, or anything else you are doing right. Beet juice delivers the raw material. Garlic releases the brake that has been silently preventing that material from doing its job. Researchers at the University of Alabama at Birmingham found that combined nitrate and allicin intake in adults over 65 produced a 28% greater improvement in arterial flexibility compared to nitrate alone over a 12-week period. Crush 2 raw cloves. Let them rest for 10 minutes after crushing. This maximizes allicin production through enzyme activation. Blend into your juice and consume on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. ADMA peaks during overnight fasting. Garlic's inhibitory effect is most powerful at exactly that moment. Number 4, pure unsweetened raw cacao powder. Cacao contains the highest known dietary concentration of flavonols, specifically epicatechin, that activate nitric oxide production through the endothelial pathway. This is a completely separate biological route from the dietary nitrate pathway that beet juice uses. Think of it this way. Beet juice is a fuel delivery truck sending raw material to your vascular cells. Cacao flavonols are a factory upgrade, increasing the production capacity of the cells that are processing that fuel. When you combine both, the output does not simply add together, it compounds. Harvard Medical School researchers analyzing the Cosmos Cocoa trial, which followed over 21,000 participants, found that regular flavanol-rich cacao consumption was associated with a 32% reduction in cardiovascular mortality, with the benefit most pronounced in adults over 70. A separate mechanistic study found a synergistic nitric oxide response 58% greater than either compound alone in adults averaging 71 years of age. After 75, your endothelial cells lose approximately 35% of their nitric oxide synthase activity. Cacao flavonols are among the very few dietary compounds shown to partially restore that lost enzymatic function. Not just slow the decline, partially reverse it. 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw cacao powder blended into your juice. Never use Dutch processed cocoa. The alkalizing treatment used in Dutch processing destroys up to 90% of the flavanol content. Add a small pinch of black pepper. Piperine in black pepper inhibits the enzyme that breaks down flavanols during digestion, extending their biological activity by up to 2 additional hours. Now, pause here before the top 3. Lemon, garlic, and cacao all work on the same primary system. They increase nitric oxide through 3 different entry points in the same production pathway. What comes next at numbers 3, 2, and 1 works on entirely different biological systems that beet juice alone cannot touch. Even if you have been doing everything correctly up to this point, these next 3 ingredients add mechanisms your circulation currently has zero access to. If this is reaching you for the first time, if no one has ever explained to you that your beet juice is operating at half capacity without these additions, hit the like button right now. Every other adult over 60 dealing with cold extremities, heavy legs, and declining circulation will only find this video if you engage with it. And if you are not already subscribed, subscribe now. Every week, I bring you research calibrated specifically to the biology of adults over 60, not general wellness content. Your biology, your decade, your solutions. Now the top 3. Number 3, fresh ginger root, grated raw, never powdered. Ginger works through a mechanism called hemorrheology, the science of blood viscosity. After 75, blood viscosity increases by an estimated 18% above normal adult levels. Your red blood cells become stiffer, less deformable, less able to squeeze through the smallest capillaries that supply your fingers, your toes, your ears, and every extremity where you feel the cold first. Imagine the difference between water and slightly thickened syrup being pushed through a narrow straw. Even a small increase in thickness produces a dramatic reduction in flow rate. That is what is happening inside your capillary beds every single day. Beet juice dilates the channels. Ginger thins the fluid moving through them. One targets the pipe, the other targets what flows through the pipe. Two completely independent mechanisms attacking the same circulation problem simultaneously. Ginger's active compounds, gingerols and chagols, inhibit thromboxane A2 synthesis, the specific biochemical process that causes platelets to clump together and blood to thicken. A randomized controlled trial from the University of Sydney found that adults over 65 consuming therapeutic doses of fresh ginger showed a 23% reduction in platelet aggregation within just 4 weeks. When combined with beet juice nitrates, researchers described the peripheral circulation improvement as exceeding the predictions of simple addition, a true biological synergy. Grate 1 to 2 inches of fresh ginger root directly into your blend. Consume the full mixture immediately before a 10 to 15-minute walk. Movement activates gingerol compounds more rapidly, and the combination of mechanical circulation from exercise with the pharmacological effect of the drink produces compounding benefits that persist for several hours after both stimuli have ended. Number 2. L-arginine powder. L-arginine is the direct molecular precursor for nitric oxide production inside your vascular endothelial cells. It is the raw material your cells physically consume to manufacture every single molecule of nitric oxide your body produces. Think about what you have built so far. Lemon restored the acidic conversion environment. Garlic released the ADMA brake. Cacao upgraded your endothelial production capacity. Ginger thinned the blood those cells are responsible for moving. But every factory, no matter how well upgraded, can only produce as much output as its raw material supply allows. L-arginine is that supply. Without enough of it, the entire upgraded system remains supply limited. Let me tell you about Patricia, 76 years old, retired librarian, 5 years of worsening peripheral circulation. Her hands had become so unreliable in cold weather that she had stopped gardening, something she had done every spring for over 30 years. Her morning beet juice helped, but not enough. She added 3 grams of L-arginine powder to her daily blend. Within 8 weeks, she reported the first full week without numbness episodes in over 2 years. Within 4 months, her physician documented measurable improvement in peripheral perfusion and reduced one of her circulation medications based on the clinical findings. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine found that L-arginine supplementation in adults over 65 with peripheral vascular compromise produced a 22% improvement in walking distance over 12 weeks, with the benefit most pronounced when taken alongside dietary nitrate sources, meaning beet juice specifically. After 70, the enzyme responsible for recycling L-arginine within your vascular cells declines by an estimated 20%. Your body requires significantly more L-arginine just to maintain the same baseline nitric oxide output it generated effortlessly 2 decades ago. The supply line has thinned. Most people have absolutely no idea. 3 to 5 grams of pure unflavored L-arginine powder stirred into your complete blend daily. The vascular effects are cumulative, building sustained plasma levels over 4 to 6 weeks of consistent use. Never take it within 2 hours of a high-fat meal. Dietary fats transiently spike ADMA, the same brake garlic inhibits. Garlic already present in your blend simultaneously neutralizes that spike. The pairing is particularly effective for exactly that reason. Number 1. The ingredient you have almost certainly been discarding every single time you prepare your beet juice. Think back to the last time you bought fresh whole beets. What did you do with the leafy green tops attached to them? If you are like the overwhelming majority of people watching right now, you pulled them off and dropped them straight into the trash without a second thought. I want you to sit with that for a moment. From a vascular nutrition standpoint, you may have been throwing away the single most cardiovascularly powerful part of the entire plant every single time you made your juice. Beet greens contain a compound called betaine, also known as trimethylglycine, in concentrations 3 to 4 times higher than the beetroot itself. Betaine does not dilate blood vessels directly. It works through an entirely different pathway, one that makes every single other ingredient on this list perform more powerfully in your body. Betaine is the most potent dietary reducer of homocysteine found in any natural food source. Homocysteine is an amino acid that accumulates in your blood as you age. Elevated homocysteine acts like a corrosive agent on the inner lining of your arteries, creating microscopic inflammation, triggering plaque accumulation, and progressively destroying the arterial flexibility that nitric oxide depends on to produce vasodilation. You can have perfect nitric oxide levels, and if your arterial walls are stiff and inflamed from homocysteine damage, that nitric oxide has nowhere to do its work. Every ingredient before this one has been working to produce and deliver nitric oxide to your arterial walls. Betaine repairs the walls themselves. The factory was supplied, the brake was released, the capacity was upgraded, the blood was thinned, the raw materials were delivered. Number 1 restores the structural integrity of the building the entire system operates inside. After 65, homocysteine levels rise significantly in the majority of adults. It is now recognized as one of the strongest independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease, stroke, and peripheral artery disease in older populations. And most patients never hear about it during a routine appointment. Researchers at Wageningen University in the Netherlands found that betaine supplementation equivalent to 2 to 3 servings of beet greens reduced plasma homocysteine by an average of 11% over 6 weeks. A study examining the combination of dietary nitrates with betaine in adults over 65 found that participants consuming both showed a 47% greater improvement in endothelial function compared to those consuming nitrates alone. The mechanism is precise. Homocysteine damages the endothelial cells where nitric oxide is produced. Betaine clears the homocysteine. Beet juice nitrates then have a structurally intact, inflammation-free arterial surface to act upon. You are not just supplying the system. You are restoring its capacity to respond. Blend the greens from 2 to 3 fresh beets directly into your juice. If your beets come without the tops attached, look for beet green powder in supplement form, approximately 500 milligrams per teaspoon. Add it to your complete blend alongside lemon, garlic, cacao, ginger, and L-arginine, under 5 minutes to prepare. 6 non-overlapping biological mechanisms addressed simultaneously in a single glass. Drink the complete preparation 90 minutes before your most physically demanding activity of the day. The nitric oxide peak occurs at approximately 90 minutes, aligning precisely with the window when your peripheral circulation benefits most from maximum vasodilatory support. If you are 63 or 72 or 79 or 84 years old and your circulation has been quietly declining year after year, if your legs ache by afternoon, your hands go cold without warning, your feet go numb in bed, your walking distance has shrunk so gradually you barely noticed until it was half what it used to be, and you have been told that this is simply what aging looks like, the research does not support passive acceptance of that trajectory. Your circulation is not permanently broken. It is nutrient depleted, enzymatically undersupported, substrate limited in specific measurable ways that targeted dietary interventions directly and measurably address. Every ingredient on this list was studied in adults your age. Every effect described was measured using the same clinical tools your cardiologist uses. None of this is theoretical. The people on this channel are not the ones who accepted "just manage it" as a final answer. They decided that answer was not good enough. If that is you, subscribe now. Every week, research built specifically for your biology, your decade, your body. Tell me in the comments which ingredient surprised you most and which combination you are starting with tomorrow morning. I read every single response. Your arteries are waiting for what they have been missing. What you add to that glass tomorrow morning may be the most consequential decision you make for your vascular health this entire year. If this video helped you today, please share it, not for the numbers, for someone you actually care about. A parent, a spouse, a neighbor, a friend whose hands are always cold and who has been told there is nothing more to do about it. And if this reached you, help us reach more people who need to hear exactly this. Because this is precisely what thousands of adults over 60 need to know, and no one is telling them.